Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the mic with Mike. It is the premier business radio program around. I'm your host, Mike King. Appreciate you being here. We're coming to you from the Hilton. This is Gather and Hem. We're here every Wednesday night talking business, life, and everything in between. On the mic with Mike is the premier business radio program around. We talk to the game changers. We are on ESPN Richmond, 5 to 7 a.m. every day, and we're on the Choice 105.3. That's where you find us in the afternoons from 2 to 3, as well as International Business Growth Radio. Today we are joined, so we'd like to thank the staff here, John, as well as Dasha and the rest of the team. We're gathering hem, so if you're ever out, make sure you stop here, whether it is for rooms or for event space. They have some really awesome event space here. But right now, it is my honor, Bill Lund from SQL Data. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Mike. Thanks for having me.
All righty, so you are here through our good friends over at Henrico EDA. I always start off by saying this is an elevator pitch. Let us know who you are and what you guys do.
Well, I'm appreciative of the EDAs actually serve on their the EDA's Business First Committee. And that's how I know Anthony.
Okay.
That's how I know some of the folks over there. We visit businesses in Henrico, get feedback for the county, and take that back to the EDA. But SQL Data Partners is our mission is to eliminate the pain that people experience with data so they can do more. And
using the power of data, because people can't really harness all the powers that data can offer, and people are scared of it.
They are. And so sometimes they have a lot of data, right? They have Excel spreadsheets. They have their data in Excel spreadsheets. They have it in a database. So we use Microsoft tools and help companies bring that data together. We do that for them. That's our service we'll do, and help them. We'll build reports for them, build dashboards, so that they ultimately can make better decisions. They can have reports push out to their phones, to their computers. They can have the access to that data that they need, organized, visualized for them, so that they can make better decisions.
On the mic with Mike, we're here, and we're talking about data, the use and the power of data. What are the sweet spots for you from a business standpoint that you guys really work best with? What size company?
So really larger companies. We want to work with companies that have a lot of data. Small companies, unfortunately, don't have enough data to really have pain associated with it.
You need big pain. Big pain is related to big data.
That's right.
So, and we understand. So when we talk to him, people don't understand big data, because we know the data on our phones. We know the data in our house, but we don't understand the power of big data and what it gives to an organization. Talk to that for a moment, and what people can get from it, because people really don't understand that.
Right. So there's companies that have so much data. So I'll think of a couple of our current customers, right? One is a distribution company. So they have warehouses throughout the United States, and they have a ton of data. And because they have so much data, they run reports all the time. And so they want to make sure that their databases are optimized so they can get those reports, they can make decisions as soon as when they need it. So it's very important for that company. One of the other companies we're working with, they have 2 IT people that spend 2 to 3 hours a day creating an Excel report, Mike. And so one of the things we're going to be working with them on is to automate that report for them. So we're going to free up 2 of their guys 2 to 3 hours a day from creating these reports. That's some of the things you can do when you bring in great tools, and you can automate some of those reports. I think that's a huge time saver for that company.
That's a time saver, but it's a fear there, because they can count on those people. Even though they know it's taking 2 to 3 hours, but we know that right there. So we're turning our data over. And so when you talk to them, do you see when the light comes on? Because initially they're going to be like, no, we are fine. We know we could do it better, but they don't know how to get to better. And then all of a sudden you see when the light comes on, when you say it can free those people up. What's that feel like?
So I got to tell you, it was so much, it was so exciting for us because, with the pandemic over the past couple of years, every sales meeting we've had has been through Zoom or through Teams or something of that nature. So we actually had an in-person meeting. We did our presentation.
Shocking.
I know, right? So we did our presentation, and Mike, the coolest thing happened. We were giving our presentation. We talked about what we could do for them, how we could automate some things for them, help them have better reports. And they said, "Hey, can you sit down with us and let's just talk this out?" Because they did have some fear, because they were thinking, we know what we're doing now. We can continue to do this even though it's cumbersome. But can you sit down with us and talk to us about how we can do this and what will really be the result of an engagement with you?
Mike King, Bill Lund is here. We're talking data organizations as well. You as the leader of the organization, how do you keep culture going? And that's for a data guy, when one person is over, you guys were used to that, people being in multiple locations.
That's right.
Other companies were not. How do you work with keeping people engaged when on my first day, I didn't go and meet everybody, even though that was uncomfortable. Now it's my first day and I don't know. How do we harness the power of data to help with the culture as well?
Well, I think the culture starts, as you know, through leadership, through caring, through having solid principles that you live by, and a company governs itself by. We have one of our employees. He's currently working for us down in Peru. He got married and moved to Peru.
Years ago, that would have been shocking.
Right, and we would have said
no.
Years ago, we would have said, "Thank you for your service." Shook his hand. Later. Good luck. Right, but no, we said, "Hey, here's your laptop. Here's your extra monitor. Go to Peru, and you keep on going."
As the leader of the organization, what did you learn from the pandemic that you saw now? You never would have done it before, but now you're saying, "Hey, that thing works." And what I'm going to do is, before you get started, I talked to the CEO of Elephant Insurance. He said remote working would never work. He was 100% sure. And he said a month or so into it, you know what he said? It works. So what did you guys learn? What practice did you pick up?
So I think we learned that people need people. And so you have to have contact and you have to have regular meetings with the team. And when you have those meetings, people feel connected, even if it's through a Teams meeting. And we do camera on meetings, Mike.
Oh, so you're not letting people off the hook.
No, we don't. We do camera on meetings. And so some of our team would say it's, we feel a part of the team, because even if we're talking about something technical, we feel a part of the team because we had these regular meetings.
So you're still looking at the person. We have come a long way before, when we were in a meeting and I talked to lawyers who said that everyone had to be in the same room. That's a deposition. And then we realized everyone doesn't have to be. That they had said we set up, web access and spend a lot of money on that. And if there's one glitch, it was over. We come to a point now in a very important meeting, Bill freezes up. We're like, okay, well, Bill will be back in a minute.
That's right.
And he comes back, and we've learned to deal with that. Let's talk about your sales process and how do people engage you guys?
Well, we have a large reach out. One of the things we do that I think is very unique to our business is we have a podcast. We're fast approaching our 250th episode of our podcast.
You need to be on radio. Wait, you're doing this. You were doing the same. Okay, sales pitch to follow after this. It's just the same thing I do. You guys are talking about information that's important to the end user. So to the end user and to technical folks, we do training. So we have coming up later this month here in April. We have a free webinar for people to learn about how to use SQL DBA administration tools. So it's going to be four episodes every 2 weeks, and we're gonna train people how to use these SQL tools. How did that idea come about? Well, one of the things very interesting about the Microsoft community is that within that community, people train one another. They have such events called SQL Saturdays, and people come together, and like our founder, Carlos Chacon, he will speak at those events. People will come hear him speak. And so it's a very giving community. Okay. On the mic, ESPN Richmond, that's where we are. We're coming to you from Gathering Him. This is the Hilton, the fabulous Hilton downtown. Bill Lund with SQL Data is here with us. We're talking the data and the power of it as well. So make sure you check out the programs that we have. Women Speaking Sports, RVA. That is Danielle Fitzhugh, Dr. Danny, Stephanie, Steph B, Terry Roth, as well as Lisa Trani and Star Mallory. We're talking all sports. We're also talking the business of sports. So we talk about data and the transfer of data, and Anthony Romano throws around some big numbers and the speed of data with data crossing the Atlantic and data cables going up and down the East Coast. What part do you guys play in that? Are you guys just handling it when it gets to you? Is that how that works?
So one of the great things is we have our employees are all over the world. So some of our employees are over in Spain. I mentioned Peru, right? So we benefit from that line.
So you're very, very big fans of that.
We are very big fans of that because we benefit. We can communicate with our employees all over the world. And so we talk about in these meetings, right? These Teams or Zoom meetings, we have those meetings. There's no lag. We have our folks join us from different countries. There's no lag, thanks to data speeds that, like you say, Anthony talks about, and that's available. I mean, it's amazing. Who would have thought they would have dropped that line right at Virginia Beach, right?
That's for sure. You know, you don't think about that when you look at, say, Henrico. Talk about the business community and the innovation that goes on out there with you and your neighbors who are out there.
So you see that I was at the RVA Tech, had a data, their data summit conference on Thursday last week. And there's so many people out there. There was data scientists out there. We had a speaker, the chief technical officer from Google came in. He was the keynote speaker.
Okay, they're pulling out some big names.
Absolutely, absolutely. And they talk about one of the big topics was AI, right? That's always a big topic when you talk about data innovations is AI.
When you guys are really connected to the community as well, let's talk about your company and the community involvement, because you're in networking groups, basically networking groups who will want to have a positive impact on the community.
That's right. We got involved 3 years ago with a group, and we helped organize a group called the Airport Business Association, which is a monthly networking group, meets on the third Wednesday of the month out by the Richmond Airport. We made the Fairfield Inn and Suites, and we have 40 to 50 people at each event. Mike, we'd love you to come out and join us one time.
I would love to come out. So on the mic with Mike, we're Bill Lund, who is here with us. One of the great parts about it, when you talk to business people about the commitment of organizations, what was it, the driver to have something like that, like the Airport Association? That's big.
So what happened is we were members of the Henrico Business Leaders.
Right,
HBL, yeah, and it ended, right? So we wanted to have something east of 95 that would draw people out. So we created this group. I think the first event, we had 15 people there, Mike. And then at our 1 year anniversary, we had 100 people there.
Really?
And then what happened after their 1 year anniversary?
There you go. Corona set in. It killed the party.
But we're back. We're back. Last month we had over 40 people there. We're anticipating another great turnout here in April.
That's something, because a lot of times over in that area, it kind of gets a bad rap that, people don't want to do some networking events over there. So you got a pretty cool name too.
Well, that was a very specific
intentional.
Name. It was very intentional because everybody goes to the Richmond Airport, right? If you want to fly somewhere, that's where you go. And so we have folks from Southside, we have folks from Short Pump, all over the Richmond area come. So the furthest area from the airport, they come to the group.
And everybody knows it's the airport.
Yeah, we're going to the airport. We know where that is. We'll go to it.
That's a nice move. That it really is. So you also work with, what is it, WIMBY?
WIMBY. So WIMBY stands for What's Happening in My Backyard.
You see that around. I don't think a lot of people know what that stands for.
So it's, What's Happening in My Backyard. It was founded 13 years ago. So this is a 13-year-old monthly networking organization. People come to there because people like to do business with people.
Okay.
And they come there, they make connections, they build friendships, because that's what happens. I know when I start looking at, what bank do I want to work with? And who do I think of? I think of somebody I go to WIMBY with, right? My wife and I bought a franchise a couple of years ago. We would need some help to understand QuickBooks. Who do I call? I call my friend at Wimby, right? Because I've built relationships there. I see them every month. Yeah, there's just a power of, that's the power of networking.
That's for sure. I'd like to thank you for coming. How can people find more information about you out there?
So we go to our website, which is SQLDataPartners.com, SQLDataPartners.com.
One of Mike, I'd like to thank you for coming. It is really great. Nice to meet you in person. It's something these days.
It is.
Seriously. On the mic with Mike. We'll be back just a little bit. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike.